Hey everyone, I drove this same road with you last year, and I'm going to drive it again because it's the most scenic road I know of this time of year that has Tamarack foliage, or on the west coast people would call these trees larch. It's a type of pine tree that's not evergreen, so it turns bright yellow this time of year, a couple of weeks after most trees have lost their leaves. People don't usually come to see this type of foliage this time of year, so there's really no one around. Last year I took a lot of really nice pictures. There's a bridge coming up where the entire forest around the bridge is Tamarack. Not this bridge. There's a bigger bridge with nothing but Tamarack. Look at how nice this road's getting. Bright yellow pine trees that lose their needles for the winter and regrow them. It's a very nice type of tree. I actually planted a bunch of them myself because I only had super big ones, and I made sure the small ones could come out into the yard and grow big. So you see, the small ones don't really look that pretty. When they get huge, they're very pretty this time of year. This video going until I get to that very pretty bridge, and I want to get out. That's the only reason I actually came down this road today, just to see that really nice area, because I just happen to be here at the right time of the year. Road doesn't have too many of them, but anything else this time of year that you see has yellow leaves is most likely aspen. The birch, which is what we're driving by, has already lost their leaves pretty much. Any tree that you see with full yellow leaves is going to be aspen. I don't really see any on this road. Last night it got slightly below freezing up here at the end of October, but overall October's been pretty warm. It's as if somebody switched October and September, because September actually had a bunch of unusual deep freezes at the end of the month and even frost in the middle of the month. Now we're here in October and there's almost no frost or freezing in the forecast. Unusual. Starts getting colder. I want it to start snowing. Oh, we got some good color coming up. I feel like that bridge is somewhere close by. This is just looking so nice. I've driven a lot of northern Maine, thousands of miles of logging roads in the past couple of weeks, and this right here is the only area I know of that has so many of these trees so close to each other. There's other areas that have huge patches of them, but not with a road going through them. The drought didn't seem to affect the tamaracks or the aspen trees' foliage schedule. Most of the best foliage, which comes from the maple trees, this year was in the 3rd and 4th week of September. It's typically the 1st and 2nd week of October. The drought made them all go early. So I thought these were going to be early, but nope, they're always the end of October. I don't know, I'm going to have to research that, how deep the roots of a tamarack go. Maybe they have deeper roots, I'm not sure. I do know that tamarack is a tree that loves water. They typically grow in swamps with more water. They don't have to, but they're more found near water. They have a thicker base. It kind of reminds me of a southern cypress tree. They got the thick trunk at the bottom with a wide root system for growing in soft, muddy soil without falling over. Supposedly the cypress tree would grow up here if you were to take one from Florida. Because I've seen people even in parts of Canada grow them in their yard and they survive the winter. I also was amazed to find out how far in the Mississippi River Valley they actually grow. They grow pretty far north, up into Missouri and Arkansas. I was surprised to see them so far north. I thought they were just super south. But no, we actually camped overnight in a beautiful cypress forest in Kentucky. And it was more beautiful than anything I've come across in Florida. It was really, really nice. There was even a beaver swamp in there because Kentucky doesn't have alligators. Because the alligators would kill off most of the beavers down south. But beavers and alligators do live together in northern Florida. That's an area where their range mixes. It'd be kind of cool to try to plant a cypress tree up north. You can buy them online. I think the smaller tamarack trees we're driving by, they don't look as nice because they're still partially green. Younger trees, if they're healthier, keep their foliage longer. That was nice exploring that cypress forest in Kentucky because we didn't have to worry about the alligators. We just had to worry about the cottonmouth was the worst thing you could come across in there. Cottonmouth isn't like most snakes. It won't try to avoid you. It stands its ground. It just won't move by the time you get there. A lot of snakes would have been gone. It won't be. At some point down in Florida, I want to go to, they have this place called the Cypress Gallery. If I head down there maybe next winter. The Cypress Gallery, they give tours where you're in the warm water walking around the cypress forest. It's crystal clear and you're in there with alligators and stuff. I'm not sure if they feed the gators, so they have no interest going near people or whatever it might be, but there's people walking around in there with the alligators and they don't hurt you or anything. They must be well fed or something. I want to try to go on one of those tours in there. That's like a protected area of some of the only old growth cypress left in Florida, because most of them in Florida aren't that big. They've all been cut down years ago for development. But I did realize places like Kentucky do have a lot of old growth, unprotected cypress forest that you can camp in. Oop. That beeping sound means fuel tank number 1 ran out of gas. Now the truck has just switched to fuel tank number 2 automatically, and the gas gauge just climbed all the way back up to full. That was definitely a game changer, the gas tank. used to carry around 8 fuel cans with me and have to pour them in. Now it does it automatically when I'm driving. We can hold 55 gallons of fuel. Alright, this bridge is a lot further than I thought it would be. But there is a lot of good Tamarack on this road. Swing wide in case somebody's coming around the corner. Alright, I see a really, really nice section coming up far down there. Maybe that's where the bridge we're looking for is. But I feel like these Tamarack trees must have some sort of close plant relative with the bald cypress down south. Okay, give these guys a wave. This morning the truck is so covered in mud you can't read the license plates. Barely see out the side view mirrors. It's all over the glass. You can't see out the back windshield. There's so much mud because yesterday it was raining all day. Okay, the bridge is right here. I know this area good. I don't even have to see the bridge. We're walking down there on foot. And then I'm going back out the way I came. I'm just gonna park here in case a log truck goes by. That would be beautiful if we got lucky enough to see a log truck going over this bridge. I'm gonna put my jacket on because it's actually pretty chilly out when you're not doing something physical. So today it's pretty bright and early. It's only 10 in the morning. We've already unclogged 3 culverts that I identified last night. I worked pretty late last night, almost to midnight, out on these roads. I don't do the uncloggings in the middle of the night, but I'll keep track of them because oftentimes culverts that have been a problem in the past aren't a problem this year because of drought. The beavers just aren't around. They've moved to other places. Lack of water. Even if they tried to build a dam, there's no water. So there's been very little issues this year with flooding. Now that it's starting to rain so late in the year, some beavers are scrambling to build dams. But in some locations, the beavers just aren't returning even though the rain has come. This area doesn't look as pretty as last year. I think we're actually past peak slightly. But look at this nice... Look at the beavers are putting that together. Look at the rocks. Beavers will use rocks in their dam, but some of those are quite big. I think the rangers more than likely did that because I think where I just parked is like a place for canoers to get in here because there's a big lake up there. I think they raised it up just slightly so the river would be stagnant enough to get a canoe up there. But this is beautiful. It's like a mirror. You gotta get a still picture of that. Those trees still look at peak. These ones are slightly past peak. You see, they build these logging bridges similar to a train bridge. Simple, but super strong. Like I was showing this one bridge where it was deteriorating so bad they put sheets of plywood over it. And I was questioning, why did you put plywood there? Like, the plywood got broken immediately. Just because the deck looks all destroyed. You're not going to fall through this. It doesn't matter what you're driving. And right beneath this section are metal I-beams. You're not ever going to break through these bridges, so the fact that it was deteriorated and they put sheets of plywood and a big log truck just broke the plywood going over it is absolutely ridiculous. If someone out here is driving a car that is so small, like I honestly, I don't think they even make a car that's street legal that wouldn't be able to drive over this. It would be like, but that's really not that bad if you think about how big a tire is. I can't understand why they put plywood over the part that deteriorated down. It would have been just as easy to pull nails if that's what they were trying to hide, but I don't think it is. Because shale rock is worse than any of these nail heads out on these roads. I'm getting another still picture. This is also... Actually, I like the picture better with the bridge, so I'm gonna back up. I love these logging bridges. This is still a very beautiful picture. Okay. Yeah, you see right here? This is actually where they get canoes and stuff in to this body of water. And they have emergency boats here. They have emergency boats at most water sources in Maine, so rangers could get out here super fast in case of an emergency. See that big old I-beam? Nothing's breaking through that. All right, I'm gonna end this video here, everyone. I hope this little foliage video was interesting. This would be the perfect spot to be standing, or where I just was for a log truck. I really want to see a log truck go by. I can tell by the treads in the mud, log trucks have been going through here since it stopped raining. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day.